Stand your ground!
20 years ago, 20 whole years. I was just 11 years old when The Lord of the Rings Return of the King hit cinemas on December 17th, 2003. And how could I ever predict that Peter Jackson perfecting this trilogy would change not just my life, but so many others in so many ways? But with it being the 20th anniversary, I really just felt like today I wanted to do something a little different and just talk about the film a bit, talk about the impact that it's had, and how 20 years later it is still loved as much today as it was back then. Because it is something you may wonder, how did this film manage to do something that so many other films fail in doing so? So sit back, relax, and let's look at this today.
Build me an army worthy of Mordor.
And the Lord of the Rings. You finished it.
I'm not going to waste any time today and just jump straight into things. The Return of the King is considered the crowning jewel in the trilogy that Peter Jackson made. After all, it is one of those achievements that revitalized an entire genre, and maybe not even just a genre, but potentially the entire movie industry. It was filmed against New Zealand's breathtaking landscapes, and everything about not just this movie but the trilogy, I guess, overall, really just goes to show the passion and commitment that can go into something and make something great. The trilogy at one time, a high-risk endeavour, triumphed against numerous challenges. Jackson and his team pushed the boundaries of filmmaking, blending advanced technology for the time with the expansive vision of Tolkien's universe. The production's pinnacle, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, showcased a seamless fusion of live action, groundbreaking CGI, and so much passion you couldn't even imagine, blending all to create an unforgettable spectacle. Central to the trilogy's heart were its actors, from already established stars like Sir Ian McKellen or Sean Bean to emerging talents like Orlando Bloom, each adding depth and relatability to their iconic roles. The film's authenticity was further enhanced by art director Grant Major's production design, capturing Tolkien's vision in each meticulously crafted set, from Minas Tirith's towering structures to the ominous Mordor. This authenticity extended to costumes and props, overseen by Angela Dixon and Richard Taylor, ensuring a faithful translation of Tolkien's world. The production, a multi-year odyssey across New Zealand's diverse landscapes, was as much a testament to the team's resilience and dedication as it was to their storytelling prowess. This epic journey culminated in a work that redefined cinematic history. It is almost impossible to pick specific little things that The Return of the King does so well, as it's almost a broad stroke of everything it touched turned to gold. If we just step back for a moment and pick one of those bits at random, think of the cinematographer, Andrew Leslie. He did such a breathtaking job with everything that he created, from the stunning landscapes in New Zealand to the more little intricate details. Whether it be those sweeping shots of epic battles or the more serene, tranquil Shire, everything he did created a spectacle that just immersed viewers into Tolkien's world. Howard Shore's iconic score is another pillar of the film's success. His music seamlessly blends with the visuals, enhancing the emotional depth and epic scope of the narrative. The score, from the haunted melodies of Gondor to the stirring chords during the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, adds a layer of richness to the storytelling. I mean, pretty much every year, one of my top 2 artists on Spotify is always still Howard Shore. I can never get enough of his score. It is not just background music, it is an integral part of the Middle-earth experiencing, evoking a range of emotions and setting the tone for each scene. I just have to hear those few notes at the beginning of Concerning Hobbits, and I am just transported instantly back to the Shire. As well as this though, groundbreaking special effects brought Middle-earth to life. From the vast armies clashing in the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, all the way to the fiery chasm of Samath Now. The integration of practical effects mixed in with CGI was revolutionary, creating a believable and enthralling world. You only have to think about the software Massive, the one that allows armies of hundreds of thousands of soldiers to fight just off in the background with no problem and it all being solved. This was a massive step for creating some of those big set pieces. But adding this to the use of miniatures, or bigatures as the crew called them, for locations like Minas Tirith, provided a level of detail and realism that purely digital creations just could not match at the time. The film is then packed as well with memorable scenes, from the emotionally charged lighting of the beacons to the climactic final battles. Another unforgettable sequence is the charge of the Rohirrim at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, a scene that stands as one of the most powerful and emotionally charged moments in cinematic history. The technical and practical coordination required for this sequence was immense, involving hundreds of extras, horses, and meticulous choreography to create a battle scene that feels both grand and authentic. For example, it is said that Peter Jackson only wanted actors who knew what it meant at the front of the charge, ones who understood what was at stake in the story. And that's why we got great moments like this guy. He understood his assignment. These elements, combined with the film's narrative strength, create a cinematic masterpiece that transcends its genre. The Return of the King is not just a fantasy film, it's a masterclass in filmmaking, a blend of artistry, technology, and storytelling that captured the imagination of audiences around the world all those years ago, and still continues with no less success today. Like I mentioned earlier, it was December 17th, 2003 when The Return of the King was going to hit cinemas, and it had a lot to live up to. The Fellowship of the Ring had done amazing, The Two Towers was a great middle film, but to really bring it home, the final chapter had to be fantastic, and this is something that they really hoped for at the time. They had so many high profile premieres, they really did a big job at putting the film out there and making sure everyone was aware of everything that went into it. And thankfully, the box office did not disappoint either. The excitement and eagerness of the fan base was too much to behold, and it really hit a home run. The film's reception was phenomenal, both critically and among audiences, something that feels almost unheard of these days. Critics lauded it for its emotional depth, technical brilliance, and faithful adaptation of Tolkien's work, although the faithful adaptation part is very much a questionable one when you realise how much was really changed, albeit they did it in a much better way than certain others have done. Reviewers highlighted the seamless blend of storytelling, visual effects, and character development that made the film not just a successful fantasy movie, but a cinematic triumph. Audiences were equally captivated, with many praising the film for its ability to bring the rich world of Middle-earth to life so vividly and memorably. The emotional resonance of the film's conclusion left a lasting impression. Just think of scenes like the crowning of Aragorn, the farewell at the Grey Havens. These are the moments that may be most likely to make any grown man cry.
Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
But the film's success extended far beyond just box office numbers and critical acclaim. At the 76th Academy Awards, the Oscars, The Return of the King achieved a historic sweep, winning all 11 Oscars it was nominated for, including the likes of Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay.
It's a clean sweep. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
This clean sweep was a testament to the film's all-around excellence and its significant impact on the art of filmmaking. The film's achievement at the Oscars underscored its status as not just a landmark in the fantasy genre, but in the broader context of cinema as a whole. And it is also worth mentioning, The Fellowship of the Ring won 4 Oscars and The Two Towers won 2, meaning as a trilogy at the end of it all, 17 Oscars were collected by this team. That is incredible. The release and subsequent reception of The Return of the King marked a pivotal moment in film history. It affirmed the potential of the fantasy genre in mainstream cinema and demonstrated that epic storytelling, when executed with passion and skill, can really resonate with a diverse global audience. 20 years later, the legacy of its release continues to inspire new generations of filmmakers and storytellers. The film's journey from a daring cinematic project, one that was once almost forced into 2 movies instead of 3, one that almost never even came to pass, went all the way to become a celebrated piece of cinematic art that reflects a unique alignment of visionary direction, top-class performances, and groundbreaking technical innovation, creating an enduring legacy that transcends not just time, but also continues to enchant viewers worldwide. It is really safe to say that The Return of the King didn't just finish off a trilogy in a good way, it redefined cinema and fantasy as a genre. I mean, the impact that's still felt in popular culture today from these movies over 20 years ago now, it's still felt everywhere. I've touched upon it a moment ago, but in the realm of cinema, The Return of the King elevated the fantasy genre to unprecedented heights. It proved that fantasy, which was often relegated to niche audiences back in those days, could appeal more broadly and more powerfully when coupled with compelling storytelling and cutting-edge technology. I feel that's something that Hollywood in general misses these days. Give them a good story, give them characters they love, and it doesn't really matter what world you set it in. But this film set a new standard for what epic fantasy could achieve, inspiring a generation of filmmakers to pursue ambitious, large-scale projects. Its success paved the way for other high fantasy adaptations and original works, showing that complex, fantastical worlds could be brought to the big screen with authenticity and emotional depth. But it is hard to talk about the impact of this film without also mentioning New Zealand, where obviously the majority of the film was shot. The trilogy transformed the country into a major destination for film tourism, attracting fans from around the world eager to explore the real-life Middle-earth. I mean, the first thing I did after I finished university was go to New Zealand to see what I could. Locations like Matamata, home of the Hobbiton movie set, and Wellington, the heart of the film's production, saw a surge in visitors bolstering the local tourism industry. It is crazy what one set of films can do for a country, and it is safe to say after seeing it myself that although the Lord of the Rings locations are fantastic, the country still has so much more to offer as well. It's a destination I would advise to anybody. But if we look a bit more at popular culture, The Return of the King and its predecessors have had profound influence. Not only did they revitalize the interest in the fantasy genre in cinema, but they revitalized interest in J.R.R. Tolkien's world, and maybe even just fantasy literature in general. They introduced a whole new generation to Middle-earth, me being one of them. The quotes, the scenes, the characters, they've embedded themselves in the public consciousness. You also have something as simple as memes that have derived from the film's dialogue, or scenes that have become so widespread, highlighting the film's ability to transcend its original context and still remain relevant in today's world. 2 decades later, The Return of the King continues to be celebrated not just in its achievements in filmmaking, but also the broader world. It stands as a testament to the power of how cinema can transport audiences to a new world, let you travel somewhere else and forget any problems you may have in this world, and then go on a journey with some incredible characters too. It truly is a story that continues to captivate and inspire, and The Return of the King was just that perfect send-off that the trilogy needed. If it hadn't hit the heights it had, then maybe it never would be remembered in the same way. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Lord of the Rings are the movies that inspired me to really take the direction that I wanted to go with my entire life. They inspired me that much. And although it might be debatable, I would probably actually say Fellowship is my favourite of the trilogy, although it's kind of like picking between your kids. They're all perfect in their own regard. And The Return of the King really does have some standout highlights. This movie represents a successful culmination of a risky cinematic venture, a testament to the power of creative vision, collaboration, and at the root of everything, passion. The film's themes of friendship, sacrifice, and the triumph of good over evil continue to resonate, offering timeless lessons in a rapidly changing world. Its depiction of heroism, not just in grand gestures but in small acts of courage, continues to inspire and captivate audiences. As I approach the end of this video today, really just having a quick look back and a reflection on what this movie has meant, it's clear that the film's legacy is not just about its accolades or the technical achievements. There's not just one thing this film did for the world. It's about how when everything came together, it created a masterpiece. It is about the memories it has created, the communities it has built. I mean, this community right here, you guys watching me on this channel, all came from the creation of this movie, and the impact that it continues to have on individuals and the broader cinematic landscape is undeniable. The 20th anniversary of The Return of the King is not just a celebration of a film. It is a celebration of the enduring power of storytelling and its ability to bring us together, to challenge us, and to enrich our lives. The journey into Middle-earth with Frodo and the One Ring may have ended 2 decades ago, but its magic and message continue to resonate, ensuring that this cinematic masterpiece will be cherished for many, many more years to come.
My friends, you bow to no one.
So there we have it. With it now being the 20th anniversary of the release of The Return of the King, it's been good to kind of sit back and reflect on what this film has really done For the world, for me, for all of you viewers who are part of this community. It was such an important moment having the release of this movie, and it is hard to say that these films still don't have the same pulling power as they did back then. A symbol of excellence, cultural significance, and really just a project full of passion. This masterpiece redefined the fantasy genre, blending an immersive narrative, pioneering technology, and profound emotional depth. Peter Jackson's vision of Middle-earth has enchanted generations, establishing The Return of the King as an enduring classic. Most people consider it their favourites. Even after 2 decades, the film's compelling tale of courage, friendship, and hope resonates, reminding us of the triumph of good against all odds. Its legacy lives not just in film history, but in the hearts of those it has inspired. So at the end of the day, as we celebrate this movie together, I really would like everyone just to have a thought and think, how did this movie inspire you? After all, The Return of the King is more than just a movie. It's an ongoing journey of inspiration and unity, a real testament to the power of passion.
That still only counts as one!
And with that now though, it's time for my question of the day. And today I just want to know, what does The Return of the King mean to you? How has it touched your life? How has it inspired you? What has this movie done for you? Please let me know in the comments down below. And now it is time to give a massive thank you to our patrons who continue to support the channel. You are all amazing. And if you have reached the very end of this video with me today and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It would massively help us out. And why not drop a like on the video as well? And with that, all I can say is, thank you for spending just some of your time with me today, and I will see you next time on The Broken Sword. And also, by the way, at the end here, I'm unsure if you will have another video before or after Christmas, so if I do not see you before, Merry Christmas, or if I do, I'll say it again then. Have a good one, guys.